Hi, my name is Bob, and welcome to Between the Sheets, where we look at Microsoft Excel and related technologies. Here's a common scenario. You have a list of values. We'll do an example with product names, and you want to see if each value exists in another list. We're matching one list against another. There's more than one way to do this, and I'll show you what I think is a simple method that works in any version of Excel, and on Windows, Mac, and the browser version. So let's take a look, see how it works. You see, in this workbook, we have two tabs. This tab we're on now is the Orders tab, and this is a list of products that we need to order. The second tab is the Warehouse tab, and this shows us what products are available in the warehouse that we can get. Notice this is not sorted in any order. The Orders tab is, but the Warehouse tab is not. To accomplish the matching we want to do, we're going to use two functions, and then we'll make it easier to read with conditional formatting. So let's look at the first function. This is the match function. It's one of Excel's lookup functions, and it might be a little confusing if you haven't encountered it before, but it's not so bad. What it does is when we have a list and we give the function a value to look for, it tells us how far down in the list the value is. This function takes three arguments. The lookup value is the item we're searching for. The lookup array is where we're searching for it. And the match type, you notice that's optional. That depends on whether the list is sorted or not. And here's what that's all about. If the exact lookup value we're looking for isn't in the list, we can choose closest above, which means find the nearest value that's greater than the value we want. So to do that, we use a -1 for the match type, and this works only if the list is sorted in descending order. Now, if we want only an exact match and not an approximate nearby lookup value, we use a 0 for the match type. And that means the list doesn't have to be sorted. It can be in any order. And the opposite of the first option is if we use a +1 as the match type, that means we will accept an approximate lookup value, and it has to be less than the target value we're looking for. For this to work, the list has to be sorted in ascending order. Now, that's the default match type. So if we leave out that third option, the function will assume we will accept the closest value below if it doesn't find an exact match. So here's a simple example. If we have just letters of the alphabet listed from A to Z, and from 1 to 26, we would say equals match, find C. The range we're looking for is called alphabet. Let's say we have a named range, and the match type is going to be 1. That's the default. It's in ascending order from A to Z. So the match function is going to return a value of 3 because C is going to be the third letter in that list. Remember I said we need two functions for this task. Before we actually match the values, let's see how the match function works by itself, and that's what I'm going to do here in column B just to start with. Now, before I do that, I'm actually going to go back to the Warehouse tab, and I'm going to create a range name. Now, you don't have to do it, but I highly recommend it. It's going to make this process a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all, Control A in Windows or Command A on the Mac, and then I'm going to click up here in the name box, and I'm just going to call this WH. I don't want to call it Warehouse because Warehouse is the name of the tab, and I don't want to get confused between the tab name and the name of that range. And if I click the down arrow here, I see there is that named range called WH, and we see it's there. Okay, so let's go to the Orders tab, and we're going to use it. So I'm going to say equals match, open up the parenthesis so that the lookup value is the first item in the list, comma, the lookup array is WH, and you see it recognizes it. It's there, comma, and I want to find an exact match. And you see you don't have to memorize the 1, 0, -1. It shows you what's what. So you could just click or you could just type, whichever you prefer. So I'm going to choose 0, close a parenthesis, enter, and it tells me that it's the 16th item in the list. Now let me autofill down a little bit. I don't have to go the whole way. And by the way, if you prefer to do this using cell references, if you really don't want to use a range name, that's okay, but keep in mind you have to use absolute cell references. If you don't use absolute cell references in the formula, you're going to get a lot of errors. So right now this is telling us each item, where is it in that warehouse list, how far down. You see we have a couple of errors. By itself, this really isn't very useful. So here's where the second function comes in. I want to use a function that tells us if the match function is returning a valid number, meaning the item is somewhere in the list, or if the match function isn't returning a valid number, like you see there's a couple of errors there, and in that case it means the item is not in the list. So let me just delete all of this stuff. And let's take a look at the function we want to use. The function is called isNumber, and the syntax is pretty straightforward. Say equals isNumber, and then we feed it a value. So here's a simple example. Let's say in cell B5 we have a value of 10. In cell C5 we have some text, and we run the isNumber function on cell B5. It returns a value of true because 10 is a number. And if we run the isNumber function on cell C5, it returns a value of false because chocolate is not a number. So let's do this in Excel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the isNumber function. There it is. I can just hit the tab key, and nested inside isNumber, I'm going to use the match function. So I'm going to say match A5 because that's the row we are on. I want to look up in the WH array. I want an exact match, so I could type 0 or I could click that 0, whatever. And now I'm going to close the parenthesis for the match function, and now I'm going to close the parenthesis for the isNumber function. Enter that, and it tells me true. So right now, we're not concerned with where it is. Right before it was 16. I couldn't care less if it's 16 or if it's 20. I just want to know if it's a number or not. So now let's autofill to the bottom. I'll put my mouse pointer on the autofill dot and double click. And now we have useful results. Wherever the formula finds that a product in the first sheet has an exact match in the second sheet, it returns true, and when there is no match, it returns false. Now, I don't know about you, but I find this hard to read, especially if I'm doing this at the end of the day and my eyes are already fatigued. So let's use conditional formatting to reduce eye strain. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply 2 rules to this list. So let me select, I'm going to select all the way down to the bottom, either Control-Shift down arrow or Command-Shift down arrow on the Mac. So I have this all selected. On the Home tab of the ribbon bar, I'm going to go to Conditional Formatting, and I'm going to go to Highlight Cell Rules, and where it says Text That Contains. So I'm going to first look for the word false, and you notice this is not case sensitive, and I don't use quotation marks. I just type the text in. So wherever it finds the text false, it's going to flag it in red. So let me click OK. There we go. I'm going to leave this selected because I'm going to go back to conditional formatting, back to highlight cell rules, and again, text that contains. And this time I'm going to look for a value of true. And instead of red, I'm going to highlight that with green. Click OK. There we go. Let me deselect. So I think this is a lot easier to look at. Of course, if you prefer to highlight only the true values or only the false values, that's okay too. Whatever is easier for you to read. One last thing. This technique will also work perfectly well if these lists are both on the same worksheet or if they're in completely different workbooks. Just make sure your formula references them correctly. So until next time, my name is Bob, and this has been Between the Sheets.